So, very good morning, students. Today, for 12th standard English, we shall be discussing the next chapter, that is 1.5, the new dress. So, with the name of the lesson, you could have a little idea what your chapter is going to be about. So, first, let us see some icebreakers to understand exactly what your this chapter is. So, the first activity is write in column B the description and the clothes you would choose to wear for the occasions given in column A. So some occasions are given and you have to tell about what type of clothes you will wear on this specific occasion. For example, a birthday party, we like to wear something very casual such as jeans, tops, t-shirts and jackets. A prize distribution ceremony at school or the college, you'll wear something very formal like shirt, pant, maybe ties, blazers, and for girls, maybe saris. For a picnic, you will wear something which is colorful, which is casual, and which is very comfortable. Okay, something which is very comfortable and you can easily carry it around. An entertainment show, you will try to wear something ethnic that is very cultural, comfortable, and rich, means which appears to be rich, not costly, I mean. So the next is activities. Discuss the criterion of the choice of your clothes with the help of the following points. So what type of clothes you will wear or you will try to purchase, and what is the criteria for that. So the occasion is for birthday, picnic, festival, college and different functions. You will buy clothes for different occasions. Society, the people you may meet on the venue, such as while meeting friends, family, guests or relatives. Then availability, that is the particular clothes that you're going to buy, maybe rent, means borrow it on money, borrow it from a friend, or tailor, that you're going to just bring the what do you say, sample of a cloth and you're going to tailor it. Then fashion, maybe designer clothes or limited edition clothes, casuals, formals, traditional or ethnics. So next is your wish, the who's going to buy the clothes for you. Maybe it is your wish. uh, People will have different type of opinions. I have given my opinion here. You can write any other opinion if you have. So the next one, a suggestion or advice by someone, maybe your mother's suggestion, sister, friend, family members, any close friend suggestion. It depends on you. It is your opinion you can give, or any other than the above mentioned reason. So if there is any other reason on the criteria which is left to mention, you can write that on your own. So the next activity here is divide the class into groups. Discuss the role of costumes in enhancing your personality. This also you have to do on your own in your classrooms. Then the next one is state whether you agree or disagree with the following statements and discuss the reasons. So the next is state whether you agree or disagree with the following statements and discuss the reasons. So the red ones are those statements which I strongly disagree, while the green ones are those which I agree. So let us read it out. A simple dress makes one's personality look dull. So I don't agree with this particular sentence. I completely disagree, because a person's personality is about the way she or thinks, speaks or behaves in different situations, and it has nothing to do with your dressing sense or dressing style. Clothes are just a medium to cover one's body. So a person who dresses very simply doesn't mean that his personality is very dull. Or a person who dresses very heavily, that means his personality is very nice. So it has nothing to do with it. It is just about how the personality is, and a personality does not merely depend on the dress, how he dresses or what type of accessories he wears, what types of shoes he or she is wearing. It is not about that. So the personality is about how he speaks, he thinks and how he behaves in the different situations. So next is the B1, we should not judge ourselves from the comments we receive from others. So I agree with this particular sentence, that statement, that we should not be judgmental about ourselves. The people comment on us, because fair enough, because people keep on changing their opinions from time to time, and these people, they change their opinions in different situations. If the situation is on your side, these people will praise you. If the situation is opposite you, is opposing you, so they will complain about you or judge you. So we should not mind about these people. Next is a fashionable and a costly dress makes you look rich, intelligent, and beautiful. So I strongly disagree with this particular statement because, like I said, clothes are just a medium of covering one's body. In my opinion, a person's intelligence is not bound to the clothes he or she wears. So, if you're not very fashionable, it does not mean that you're rich or you're not intelligent or beautiful. It has nothing to do with it. It's all what plays important role is your personality. So, not everyone will be able to buy a very fashionable and costly dress, but you can even wear simple things and look nice, rich, intelligent, and beautiful. So, next is we should choose a dress according to the fashion rather than our choice. So this is a sentence of your opinion. Many of you will go with the fashion, many of us like will go with the choice. So it depends on people to people and opinions to opinions. Now let us see little brief information about the writer. The writer we are going to study today is Virginia Woolf, that is 1882 to 1941, London, was an English novelist and essayist. She is considered a modernist writer of the 20th century and pioneer of the stream of consciousness as a narrative device. So the modernist writers were those writers who didn't follow the structures or the rules made by the old writers. They wanted to write about new subjects, new unparalleled subjects which the old writers means, or you can say the ancient writers didn't write. So she's the pioneer means she was one who worked in the stream of consciousness. This is a narrative device where there is a continuous flow of thoughts in the writer's minds and he keeps on expressing it. So stream of consciousness, we'll be studying about this in the types of novels as well. So, stream of consciousness is a narrative device where the writer is continuously thinking about many a things, and many a things are written accordingly. There is no structure in this particular type of novels or this particular types of writings where if you read about a character, it will be thinking about one thing and then one thing leads to another, then the third, and it keeps on continuously flowing. So she was also a major feminist writer. The glimpse of her early modern feminism can easily be traced in her writings. So feminism is the state of being feminine. It does not mean the state of being womanly or a woman. So it is about the point of view of a woman. So in the earlier times, feminism was a term which was not used. So the male writers used to write about women, but in the modern feminism, this particular term here, feminism, means that women are writing about women's problems or women's point of view about a particular topic. So, The Voyage Out to the Lighthouse, Orlando, and Mrs. Dalloway are her remarkable novels. A Haunted House is a famous short story collection from which the present story, The New Dress, is adapted. So, The New Dress is taken from a collection of her books, short stories, A Haunted House. So, let us see about that. The present story is about Mabel Waring, who is constantly thinking about her new yellow dress in a negative terms. So, this story is about Mabel Waring, who's our protagonist, who's the main lead here, and she's overthinking. I will not say thinking, but overthinking about her new yellow dress in negative terms. She herself has chosen the design, color, and pattern of the dress which she has decided to wear for a party at Mrs. Dalloway. So, this particular woman, or you will say a woman who has chose a dress, the color of the dress she has chosen, design and pattern is also what she has chosen, and everything she has chosen, but yet she is thinking about it in a negative manner, and she has chosen this particular dress to wear at a party at Mrs. Dalloway. However, at the party, she keeps thinking that the dress is old fashioned and everyone in the party is mocking at her dress. So, mocking here means making fun. Mocking means making fun of her dress. She thinks that she is a fly at the edge of the saucer. So, this is a particular phrase which means she is helpless. Okay, fly at the edge of the saucer. Drowning deep and deep as she comes seriously under the spell. Under the spell means under the influence of her overthinking, negative thinking. She keeps on thinking so negatively that she thinks that she is really looking ugly in that particular dress. Of her own negative mind, and in a depression leaves the party. So when she enters she was happy, but when she leaves she's in depression. to show Mabel's suppressed desires, unfulfilled ambitions, and meager financial conditions of her childhood. Virginia Woolf has employed the stream of consciousness technique very effectively. So, a number of things or a number of aspects about Mabel's suppressed life, suppressed desires, means unfulfilled dreams, maybe ambitions, her financial conditions, everything from her childhood to her adulthood, everything is discussed in this particular small chapter, where Virginia Woolf has employed the stream of consciousness technique very effectively. So, while we will be explaining this particular chapter, you will come to know why the stream of consciousness is a narrative technique where there is a continuous flow of thoughts. So, let us begin with the explanation of the chapter. The new dress. Mabel had her first serious suspicion that something was wrong as she took her cloak off, and Mrs. Barnett, while handing her the mirror and touching the brushes and thus drawing her attention, perhaps rather markedly, to all the appliances for tidying and improving hair, complexion, clothes which existed on the dressing table, confirmed the suspicion that it was not right, not quite right. With growing stranger, she went upstairs and springing at her with conviction as she greeted Clarissa Dalloway, she went straight to the far end of the room to a shaded corner where a looking glass hung and looked. So Mabel, when she first entered this particular party, she thought that something was not right. She was serious suspicion. Suspicion means doubtful. She was doubtful about something, and when she took off her cloak, cloak means a type of blanket which women wear. Especially a cloak, if in India you will talk about, it's like a shawl. It is used to cover the body. And Mrs. Barnett is the person who was with Mabel, and she handed over her the mirror to her to touch the brushes. Brushes means to just mark everything. Her appearance is okay. To comb her hair, maybe her makeup and all those things. And she purposely, I think, she drew her attention towards that she was not right. Her complexion, her hair, everything, and something was missing which existed on the dressing table confirmed the suspicion. Means when she saw herself on the mirror on the dressing table, she felt that something was not right. So she ran straight away up with the conviction as she greeted Clarissa Dalloway. She is the host of the party at whose house this particular party is going on. When she went straight to the far end of the room to a shaded corner where a looking glass hung and looked. So she was convinced that she was looking really very bad, or something was missing on her body, or something was missing on her clothes. And just she greeted the host and she ran directly in a corner where there was a looking glass, and she looked in it and she said, "No, it was not right." So here it was not right means the appearance. She's saying that she was not right means she's not looking beautiful in that particular dress. And at once the misery which she always tried to hide, the profound dissatisfaction, the sense she had ever since she was a child of being inferior to other people, set upon her relentlessly, remorselessly, with an intensity which she could not beat off as she would then she woke at night at home by reading Borrow or Scott or Oh this man, oh this woman. All were thinking, what's Mabel wearing? So a number of things she started thinking that if she's not looking good, that means everybody is looking at me and everybody must be thinking about the same thing, that how misery means how poor is she looking, how poor Mabel's looking in that particular dress, and why is she wearing that particular type of dress. The profound dissatisfaction means unhappiness in her suddenly just took over her. The sense she had means since childhood she felt that she was less in front of others. She always thought that she was less than others, and that particular idea just took over her relentlessly. That means oppressively constant, means that feeling was so strong. Remorselessly, that means that this particular feeling of great sadness suddenly took over her, and there was no comparison to it. And she woke up once reading about a book that Borrow or Scott of these men, oh these women, all were thinking what Mabel's wearing. So you can see this is the effect of stream of consciousness, where the protagonist, the main lead, is thinking about a number of things, and one thing leads to another. What a fright she looks! What a hideous new dress! Their eyelids flickering as they came up and their lids shutting rather tight. So she's thinking a number of things. How hideous means how dirty or how frightful she's looking. She's looking like a monster. She's wearing such a dirty kind of dress. Eyelids flickering. Flickering here means uncontrolled motion of eyes. Means everybody's looking at her and closing their eyes because she's wearing a very ugly dress. She's looking really ugly in that. It was her own appalling inadequacy, her covered eyes, her mean water sprinkled blood that depressed her. So she's thinking about a number of things, but in a negative terms about herself, which nobody is thinking, and she's thinking that everybody is thinking about this thing, that she's looking really ugly, so ugly that people are just taking away their eyes off her, and nobody wants to look at her. So she was thinking about a number of things, and where she thought that it was her own appalling inadequacy. Inadequacy means she was thinking that something is not sufficient, something is less. Maybe her covered eyes, her mean water sprinkled blood that depressed her. She was thinking as herself as coward, she was thinking as herself as inferior to other people. She was thinking about everything negative in the world about her. She was thinking that in her new dress she was looking hideous, means like a monster, very ugly, and nobody wanted to look at her. Where the whole room, for ever, for so many hours, she had planned with the little dressmaker how it was to go, seemed sordid, repulsive, and her own drawing room so shabby, and herself going out, puffed up with vanity as she touched the letters on the hall table and said, how dull to show off. All this now seemed unutterably silly, paltry, and provincial. So she was thinking about how she had prepared herself in the little dressmaker at her home, which was sordid and repulsive. Sordid means unpleasant, repulsive means arousing of disgust. So she felt very disgusted about herself, that her own drawing room was so shabby, so small, where she prepared herself, and now it is of no use because she was looking very dull. She thought of to show off in the party, but what is it, she wasn't able to do so. But now she looked really very silly. Paltry means she was looking very unimportant. Provincial means she looked at as if she's belonged to a particular region. So most of us, according to our lifestyles, according to the various clothes we wear, we look as if we are from a particular region or a particular place. So this thing was taking over her. She thought that because of her inappropriate clothing, or the way she was dressed, she looked as if she came from a very small place or a small town like thing. All this had been absolutely destroyed, shown up, exploded the moment she came into Mrs. Dalloway's drawing room. So the moment she came into Mrs. Dalloway's drawing room, that is where she prepared herself, where she had all the makeup kit, she felt that she was lost. She was very poor at that particular moment. What she had thought that evening when sitting over the teacups, Mrs. Dalloway's invitation came, was that of course she could not be fashionable. It was absurd to pretend it even. Fashion meant cut, meant style, meant 30 guineas at least. But why not be original? Why not be herself anyhow? And getting up, she had taken the old fashioned book of her mother's, a Paris fashion book at the time of the empire, and had thought how much prettier, more dignified, and more womanly they were then. And so she said herself, oh, it was foolish trying to be like them. Pluming herself, in fact, upon being modest and old fashioned and very charming, giving herself, no doubt about it, to an orgy of self love which deserved to be chastised, and so regarded herself out like this. So she thought a number of things. Let us understand what she thought. That when the particular invitation of the party came to her, she thought that she couldn't be fashionable. So there was no meaning to be something she wasn't. So there was no meaning to pretend. Pretend means to be something which she couldn't be. And absurd. It was a foolish thing to even think that she was very fashionable. So she thought instead of wearing something very fashionable, which could mean very costly. So the 30 guineas. So guineas here is a gold coin of the British currency, and 30 gold coins was a very huge amount those days, especially when you're living in Britain or a place like this. So she thought, why should I bring something which is very costly? Why should I not be very original? So she got herself her mother's book, her mother's old fashioned book, and she saw type many of types of dresses in that, and she figured out that I should wear something like this which looks more prettier, more dignified here means something which looks very close to self respect, means something which will look very nice on her, something very womanly on her, and let us be something like that. So it was a very foolish thing. So she thought now that it was very foolish of her thinking that after wearing that dress, whatever she was wearing, she would look modest means of good family or good culture, but she was looking old fashioned, but she wasn't looking very charming. So there was no doubt in this that she was thinking so many things upon her, but she thought that it was an orgy of self love. Orgy means a gathering of self love. She thought that she would look very charming, old fashioned, all those things, modest, but it turned out to be a punishment for her. Chastise means to punish or scold. It turned out to be a scolding for a punishment for her, and she was looking so rigid means she was looking so ugly now. She wasn't looking any charming, she wasn't looking dignified, she wasn't looking modest, she was looking old fashioned and ugly. But she dared not look in the glass. She could not face the whole horror. The pale yellow, idiotically old fashioned silk dress, with its long skirt and its high sleeves and its waist, and all the things that looked so charming in the fashion book, but not on her, not among all these ordinary people. She felt like a dressmaker's dummy standing there for young people to stick pins into. So she was wearing an old fashioned pale yellow dress where she thought that she was looking very hideous, monstrous, very dirty, and like an idiot. She thought herself as an idiot who's wearing an old fashioned silk dress, and which does not belong to the nowadays fashion, and she's looking really ugly because this old fashioned silk dress had a long skirt, high sleeves up to the waist, and it looked very charming in the book, but it wasn't looking on her. So she was so negative in her thought, she was immersed so much in negativity. Now she was thinking that she was looking like an idiot in among these ordinary people who were wearing those type of clothes which were according to the fashion. But she felt like a dressmaker's dummy. So a dressmaker's dummy is like a mannequin, a type of a doll which that person uses for designing his clothes and all those things. So she felt like a dressmaker's dummy standing there for young people to stick pins into. So stick pins into here means to stick their harsh words onto. So she felt as if she's a dummy. But my dear, it's perfectly charming, Rose Shaw said, looking her up and down with the little satirical pucker of the lips which she expected. Rose herself being dressed in the height of the fashion, precisely like everybody else always. So Rose Shaw was another person or another lady who visited that particular party, and she said that you're looking very charming, but she said in a satirical manner. Satirical means she made fun of a serious topic, where this particular Mabel is thinking that she's looking extremely dirty, she's looking hideous, she's looking like a monster, she's looking an idiot, she's looking a dummy. So many things she's thinking about herself, and on top of that, Rose came there, and she just made fun of her, mocked her, and she went away. So usually you can tell if any person is really making fun of you or not. So she thought that yes, she was making her fun, and she said that you're looking very pretty, you're looking very nice. But Rose herself was looking very fashionable. She was at the height of the fashion, means she was looking extremely beautiful, extremely nice in that particular dress, and Mabel knew about it. We are all like flies trying to crawl over the edge of the saucer, Mabel thought, and repeated the phrase as if she were crossing herself, as if she were trying to find some spell to annul this pain. A spell means she was trying to find something to reduce the pain of looking so dirty, looking so hideous and monstrous, and she was trying to do something to make this agony endurable. Agony means this pain durable, bearable. This particular entire scene make it bearable. This agony endurable means bearable to somehow face this entire pain. Tags of Shakespeare, lines from books she had read ages ago, suddenly came to her when she was in an agony, and she repeated them over and over again. Flies trying to crawl. So she kept on repeated some lines to her. If she could stay there over often enough and make herself see the flies, she would become numb, chill, frozen, and dumb. So she had become so numb, she was unable to feel anything, and she was looking foolish. Now she could see flies crawling slowly out of the saucer of milk and with their wings stuck together, and she strained and strained, standing in front of the looking glass, listening to Rose Shaw. Now she was holding a particular thought in his mind that she was looking ugly, and she was just continuously thinking more and more negative about it, and she was not willing to leave that thought out of her mind. She was listening to harsh words or satirical words of Rose Shaw, and she was just standing in front of the glass to make herself see Rose Shaw and all the other people. There are flies trying to hoist themselves out of something or into something meager, insignificant, toiling flies. So she thought that all of them are just flies. People are like flies. She's a fly. Toiling means working. They are working in significant flies. But she could not see them like that, not other people. She saw herself like that. She was a fly, but others were dragonflies, butterflies, beautiful insects. Dancing, fluttering means moving, skimming, that means gliding, while she alone dragged herself up out of the saucer. So she felt that everybody is beautiful here, only she is like a fly. A fly is a disgusting insect, usually which sits on all the waste type of things or waste, and others are like dragonflies, butterflies, beautiful insects. They are dancing, sinking, and rolling here and there, while she alone dragged herself out of the saucer. Saucer here means the envy and the jealousy, or you can say the negativity. Envy and spite, the most detestable of the vices, were her chief faults. Detestable means everything which people disliked was inside her. Now she was thinking so negatively about her that she felt like she was a fly, a disgusting fly. So here we end the first part of this particular chapter explanation, part 1. If you are new to the channel, press the like button, subscribe the channel, and we will meet again in the next part, the explanation part 2. Till then, see you soon. Have a great day. Be safe.